Hello all, how are you all doing? And welcome back to the White Coat Wisdom. I am Akshar, your host, and I am thrilled to kick off this podcast season with a personal story, my journey into medicine and why I chose this path. I'll also touch upon the lessons I've learned so far in medicine. I've been into this field since 4 years, so first, second, third, and right now I'm on the verge of completing my final year. So let's start with when I conceived the idea of getting into medicine. So surprisingly, till about 8th or ninth grade, I was more inclined towards robotics and engineering, and I used to do projects related to robotics. I even joined an academy which taught robotics and basics of programming. So I was a typical engineering guy. Even in the 11th and 12th, I loved physics more than biology. And also, like typically what people say is that if your mathematics is weak, you go for medicine. But in my case, it was not the typical thing that I used to hate physics and love biology. I used to love biology, but even more so, I used to love physics and the logical reasoning part of that. So, how I ended up in medicine. So the thing was that even if I loved physics, there was no human touch into that subject. If I pursued engineering, or if I pursued any branch which was related to physics and mathematics, there would be a minimal amount of human touch and human intervention. On the other hand, medicine offered a ton of that. So I thought that my personality and my skill set would be better utilized if I took medicine. The empathy and the level of understanding which medicine deals with is almost not present in any other field. So that's how I took medicine. I was not passionately drawn into medicine. But when I started my med school journey, right from the first year entering into the dissection halls, in my second year entering into hospital wards, I knew this is where I belong. And the work satisfaction was much more than solving a difficult integration question or solving a difficult physics problem. So that's when I actually fell in love with medicine in my second year, I would say, during the ward rounds, during the practical sessions, and as in when I read medicine, I was more drawn into it. So it was not a spontaneous thing that I knew I wanted to become a doctor, but it was a gradual process that with time it shaped me as a person, it shaped my personality. So that was all about how I ended up into medicine. No doubt there were challenges initially. In the first year, you like certain subjects, you dislike certain subjects, you doubt your decision. That despite of having an edge in other subjects, are you in the right field? But keeping faith in those tough times were really helpful. And as soon as the clinical subject started, I knew that this was the right decision to make. In the second section, I would like to discuss about the key lessons I have learned so far in the medical school. So the first lesson I would like to share with you guys is patience and empathy are the most important thing in medicine. No doubt, medical knowledge is equally important to make the correct diagnosis to treat your patient. But pure medical knowledge can be even found in books, right? Even there are many doctors who are having more knowledge, but patients prefer to go to the doctor who shows them patience, shows them empathy, who listens to them, and then gives a wholesome care and not just medical care. So if you feel that you have that edge over other people in empathy and listening to patients and supporting and providing them a wholesome care, then you should definitely think of a career in medicine. Second, what I learned is learning never stops in medicine. Initially, it's very overwhelming seeing that you have to complete 5.5 years of MBS, 3 years of your MDMS, even after that, 3 years of super specialization, and the different sorts of fellowship, practical courses, continuous medical education continues throughout your life. Going into medicine with a mindset that you are going into college, once you graduate college, you will get a job or you will start your own clinic and start earning. It's a skewed mindset, I think. Instead, you should see that the learning which you are getting into medicine is not comparable to any other field. Like the amount of detail in which a doctor needs to study. It's unparalleled. So you should be grateful for that. The third lesson which I learned was teamwork is essential. So, right in the first year, right from the first day of medical school, you are put into batches of, let's say, 20 persons, 25 persons, 30 persons. And throughout your medical school, they will be your friends, they will be your buddies who will be there for you before every viva, before every exam. And having a good group definitely helps. You can teach them, you can have fun with them. And being a lone wolf is sort of not recommended in MBBS, as the sheer volume of the syllabus and the sheer amount of hard work you need to put before every exam is just unbearable if you're alone. Having a good group of friends definitely helps to lighten that burden. So that was about the lessons which I learned. Finally, wrapping up the episode, I would have a few advices for aspiring medical students who are in their 11th standard, 12th standard, aspiring to become doctors. So, the first thing is stay curious, ask questions, and embrace challenges. You don't need to shy away from asking questions. There will be many times in your life that you would be clueless about a thing. So, be humble and ask questions to your seniors. Most of the time, they would be more than happy to answer you. As I said earlier, that learning never stops in medicine. So it's important to never get your ego in between, coming in between the transfer of knowledge. So if you don't understand anything, just be humble and ask for help. Second is don't be afraid to make mistakes, and that's how you learn. So definitely in college life, it's a whole different life than what we have experienced in the school time. In school, if we make some mistakes, we are immediately corrected by either the teachers or the parents. But in college life, there is a sort of freedom. The professors don't care as much as they used to care in school. So you are all on your own. So that doesn't mean you should play safe and you should not make mistakes. You should try what you feel. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, then you learn from it, right? And making mistakes also shapes you as a person, I feel. The person who has made more mistakes and learned from them is any day a better person than the person who has never took a risk and never made a mistake. So finally, let's wrap up this first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And thank you for joining me on this first episode of White Coat Wisdom. I hope the journey and the lessons resonated with you. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can also follow me on the social media for updates. And if you have any suggestions, any criticism, feel free to either mail me or DM me. And let's work together to make this thing helpful for everyone in and around the field of medicine. Stay curious, stay dedicated, and I will see you next week.